A question that started over 60 years ago. A question that must never be answered. A question hidden in plain sight. And the question that he's been running from all his life. Okay, so let's say that I know the answer. The Doctor is a god. Case solved. Next question, what type? Hey guys, welcome back to New Who HQ. I am Matt. Before we get into the video, quick little side note, I want to just bring up Simon Fisher Becker, who sadly passed away a few days ago at the age of 63. He was known to be in Harry Potter, but for Doctor Who fans he was known as Dorian, who was quite a prominent figure and a really enjoyable figure throughout the Matt Smith era. And whilst he wasn't like a massive main character, he certainly added a lot into that era, which I really like. So it's a real shame, obviously, that he has left us. And what I started with, and the quote that I started with at the beginning of the video is very much a dedication to him. So rest easy. Today we are exploring not the question of who is the Doctor, because that's been done for, you know, as I said, over 60 years. But let's say the Doctor is a god. What type of god would he be? Now, the reason why I'm sort of zoning in on the fact the Doctor is a god, it hasn't been confirmed. It's kind of been hinted at a lot throughout the last few years, especially in New Who, and obviously with the Timeless Child arc. Obviously now we're in an era of Doctor Who where gods are basically in every episode. I think it's quite relevant to assume that the Doctor is some sort of god, but what god would he be? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Well, let's get real down to the basics of what actually is a god. So, a god is the being perfect in power, wisdom and goodness who is worshipped. Examples include Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, as creator and ruler of the universe. That's what it means for them religions, which is obviously the main religions, and I think that's kind of what most people would sort of describe as a god. So, let's get into why this has become such a big thing in the last few years, and I want to draw your attention to the Timeless Child arc, because we found out that the Doctor originates from beyond this universe. Jodie Whittaker discovered that Tep-To-Yoon had found her 1 billion years ago at the foot of a mysterious structure that had been torn open between the universe. It's entirely possible the Doctor is from the same universe as Sutekh, as he wasn't exaggerating when he claimed to represent life, and we'll get into that in a bit. So yes, Maestro, Sutekh are all not from this universe, and it takes a lot of power to be able to get into it. We know that the only reason Sutekh was able to enter the universe is because in Wild Blue Yonder, the 14th Doctor put Bounded Salt on the edge of reality or something like that, and bad decision, Mr. DT. So we know that the Doctor is obviously very, very powerful. We know that he is no longer from this universe, and whilst we don't know exactly his whereabouts or where he officially came from, the Timeless Child gives us an idea, gives us a lot of theories from it, that either the Doctor was just there to begin with, or that the Doctor came from something which has not yet been explained. So, what type of god could the Doctor be? Now, the biggest one I see, and the one that makes sense most to me, is obviously the god of life, because I think defeating the god of death, how silly as it was, defeating the god of death should only really be done by a god, and that is the god of life. That kind of makes sense. The god of death created death across the whole universe. The Doctor brought it back. So even if he's not technically a god of life, you wouldn't be wrong in saying, to me, he is the god of life, because he created life again, which kind of sounds like what a god would do. So that makes sense, yeah? Also, another reason why I think the god of life is my favourite theory of what type of god the Doctor would be is it would make sense for his regeneration. Able to die and come back to life. That would make a really good explanation as to why the Doctor can regenerate, because he is the god of life, so whatever happens to him, he will come back to life in a different form, sometimes the same form. So that's something else I would add on to the god of life theory. Another, coming from my mind, a little bit different and it may contradict myself a little bit, but the god of death, I reckon the Doctor is the true god of death. And you're probably thinking, what? Because, as I just said, the Doctor brought back life after Sutekh took it away. I think there's an ongoing theme that the Doctor often makes promises to people that he's going to keep them alive, and he's going to be, everyone's going to be safe. And sadly, most of the time that isn't the case. And it's not just with a companion. It could be within a normal story where you have 4 or 5 side characters along the episode who the Doctor sort of takes care of. He asserts his dominance, he's in charge, and he says to them, I'll get you home, you'll be absolutely fine. And normally that doesn't quite happen. Also, a lot of people die for the Doctor, if that's to keep his whereabouts secret, if that's to protect his legacy, all of that type of thing. So, there are arguments for saying that he is honestly the god of death. And there is kind of times where he touches upon everything he touches seems to sort of turn to dust. Which is quite a good little hint at Sutekh there. The other god, 3 gods that I have kind of conjured up. The other one was the god of time, which is the one I like the most, because I think the fact that the Doctor can go anywhere in space, anywhere in time, or the god of space and time, if you like, not many people obviously can do that. And you could say about his TARDIS, he's basically that's removed from him, but the TARDIS is a part of the Doctor, and with them together, he really is the god of it, because he can go anywhere he likes. Of course, he can change events, but certain events do cause problems, and he hasn't got the power to completely and utterly change that. And also we know that quite often the Doctor doesn't end up where he wanted to in the first place. So he could be the god of time, but he's not the god of TARDIS maps, space maps. He also doesn't know how to fly the TARDIS properly, actually. It was River that knew that. So yeah, those are my thoughts about that. Obviously, we don't know where the Doctor is truly from. Whenever you think of the Timeless Child, it's brought a whole new question into the who the hell is the Doctor? And some people will want that answered, and I'm sure quite a few will not, because the show should not be centred around the Doctor. I personally love knowing more about the Doctor, and I think finding out where he came from doesn't ruin it, because, Gallifrey itself is a really interesting concept, which has obviously, I've done videos about it before, it's kind of been pushed out too far, done too much of it, but I think we've had some really clever episodes with Gallifrey in it. So there we go. What do you think about this? Are you enjoying all of the gods in Doctor Who? And do you want to know where the Doctor is truly from? And would you be happy if he truly is a god? So many questions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a like and subscribe if you are new. We are so close to season 2, series 15. It's very, very exciting, but I'll see you all very, very soon.